Hello and welcome to week 4 of my video diary. I'm very excited that I've been wittering quite happily for a month and I hope that you're still enjoying it, that you're still finding them interesting. Thank you so much for your response to the video last week. I've had some great comments. Glad that you're liking the hats, that's always a good thing. While on the subject of hats, let me just introduce the hat of the week. This is from Accessorize. I bought it about 2 years ago and last week I was channeling my inner Nancy from Swallows and Amazons. This week I'm doing the whole Bobby look from the Railway Children. I thought it was quite good. So literary themes coming into the hats as well. You weren't expecting that, but there we go. Now, before we start, let me just share something that arrived in the post this morning. And this as a writer is something this is just one of the great moments that's just very exciting. This is the German version of Fairy Tale of New York. Die Wunderbare Welt, de Rosie Duncan. It's published by Heine. And it's become a bestseller, woo, which I'm very excited about. 17,000 copies so far in Germany, which is crazy because I know about 3 people in Germany and I'm pretty sure they haven't bought it. But really exciting. Nice to see actually somebody else's vision of what the cover looks like. And actually what's really nice as well is at the start of each one of the chapters, she says trying to find a chapter, please. They've got these darling little roses as well from the start. I love that. So I'm very excited by that, but that arrived in the post this morning, which was really nice. The other good news, and you might notice that I'm very chilled and very, very happy and very relaxed. It's because the first draft of It Started With a Kiss is finished. Woo! I'm very excited. I am so excited I can't tell you. I finally finished it at 7:45 on Sunday morning. I'd started my last writing session at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning and I basically wrote through the night. But it's fabulous and I'm so proud of it and you're so gonna love it. And sorry if I sound arrogant, I'm just really proud of it. I think it's done really well. Basically, I was going to tell you actually about what happens in the last bit of when you're writing, the last sort of 5,000 to 6,000 words, when it all comes together. And I was very fortunate this time in that everything came together, all the threads that I've been putting in, all the hard work about, you know, all the groundwork of putting the characters in. It just I just sort of hit a flow, and that might be to do with sleep deprivation, or it might just be that it just kind of worked. And as a writer, that's one of the things that I love the most, is when I sort of hit this sort of subconscious flow. Quite a lot of writers talk about this, and it's almost as if somebody is dictating it to you because your brain is working at such a speed that it's thinking ahead and everything's coming together. And it's really amazing. And what it's meant is that when I finished the draft, not only did I burst into tears, but again, that might be lack of sleep. But also that I'm just immensely proud of it, and I think I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it because I believe so much in it. That's really important when I move on to the next stage of the structural edit, which is where we sort of work out the big plot points and things. Because if I really believe in the manuscript, it means that I'll stand my ground on stuff that's important, like I talked about last week with the editorial decisions that sometimes seem to fly in the face of what you want for the book. This time, because I believe in it so much, I know that I'm going to really stand my ground on stuff, and that I'm going to be able to get something that's really true to the vision that I have in my head. So that's all very exciting, and that's gone off now to my editor, and at the end of this month I then have an editorial meeting and I'll tell you all about it. In fact, I might even take you down to London with me, and we'll get out of my front room so you don't have to look at my sofa and my scratchy cushions anymore. But that's coming up, so that's cool. Let's move on to your questions. Leah from Chicklit Reviews, hello Leah. She asked about the viewpoints that I write my books from. So the first book, Fairy Tale of New York, was written in the first person, and Welcome to My World was written in third person, and It Started With a Kiss is going back to first person again. And she asked if there's a particular tense that I like to write in. To be honest, not really. I like it just sort of will present itself to me when I start writing. There's one that will feel right. Something about Welcome to My World, you'll notice that it goes from present tense at the start of a chapter to past tense for the rest of the chapter, to sort of show how Harry ended up locked in the loos at Stone Yardley Village Hall. The reason that I started doing that, I actually started writing it before I got a book deal, when I was still an unpublished writer. I started writing it like that because I read quite a lot of books that were written in present tense and I really couldn't get on with it. And I thought the only way that I'm going to get my head around this is to actually try and write something within there, so almost look at it from the inside out and work out how it works. And so that was where it came from, and in the end I think it works as quite an effective tool because you feel very much in the moment with Harry and you want to know why she's there. I still don't think that I could write an entire book from a present tense because I think it would just grate with me too much, but I liked it as a device really to get you more into the action. So I hope that answers your question. Dot, hello Dot, had a great question. She said, what type of books do I enjoy reading? Everything and anything, to be honest. And if I'm really honest, hand on heart, I don't read that much chick lit. The main reason is that as a writer, within the genre that you're writing, you're always scared that someone else will have written your book first. Or that you'll end up sort of subconsciously working in a book that you've read somewhere else. And I don't want to rewrite Pride and Prejudice or, you know, or P.S. I Love You. I want to have something that's very different every time. So I read some chick lit, things like Cecilia Ahern, who I love. I just think she's brilliant. I love Sarah Addison Allen. I think it's the kind of the otherworldliness that they bring into it, the fact that it's not just boy meets girl, there's kind of something else going on as well, and I really like that. Outside of chick lit, I love Jasper Fforde, who is a genius, Neil Gaiman, Terry Pratchett. I love that kind of slightly madcap humour, but sort of really scary one minute, really happy the next minute, really funny the minute after that. I like the idea of taking readers on a real emotional sort of journey so that they're sort of rolling with the punches really with the characters. So I like those kinds of things. I also like reading things like crime novels. I started reading some crime novels last year that I wouldn't have read before, but that was really good. And I think as a writer it's interesting to see how the writers approach things like character and pace and dialogue. One of the things that I know has been said about my books is that they're quite slow, so I'm looking at ways of bringing a bit more pace into it. So it started with A Kiss, for example. There's a mountain bike race between two of the major characters, which was quite fun to write, something that was really, really fast paced. So you might find more of that coming into future books. But those are the kind of books that I like to read, and I like to sort of read around the subject and read other types of genre, and I think that's important. As a writer, one of the most important things to do is to read, because that's how you learn and that's how you craft what you come up with. So I hope that's answered your question. That's everything for this week. Short but sweet, hopefully. Next week I'm going to hopefully go out, take the camera out of the living room and go and have a look at some of the places that I'm using as locations for the book. If you've got any questions, if there's more stuff you want to know about, then you know what to do. Leave a comment in the box and let me know. And just thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope it's still fun. I hope it's still exciting. Again, if you have any, hats you'd like me to wear, let me know. So take care, have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.